Do you mind if I start off with a short story? Alright. Picture this. You're just a normal guy named John. And you're a miner in this kind of subterranean, small mining town. And during one of your mines, you happen to stumble across a young girl named Sam with white hair. After adopting her as your own, she gets into school. She gets expelled from school for getting into an altercation about wanting to see the outside world. And there's just something eerie about this town, this society, and everything about it just feels dark and eerie, and there's just no good to be had from any of this situation. So what do? You take Sam and you run away through the dangerous mine with monsters, creepy crawlies, darkness, only to see the outside world that everybody told you to fear. And when you finally get to see this deep, dark, scary outside world, you're just met with anybody who's an appreciator of any Ghibli film can appreciate the opening of Eastward, which is just one of many comfortable, cozy, but also meaningful, plot-driven, and scary pixel art games that there are. And I'm trying to explore what makes pixel art so comfortable. Why does it feel so right? Why does it feel so nostalgic? I wanted to start with Eastward, but I'm going to be delving into a few more now as I get into Sea of Stars, which I just beat last week. Now, I'll be honest, I used to be a huge critic of pixel art games as being devolving, de-evolutionary of video game graphics because I was a little closed-minded. I loved 3D, big AAA games, and I didn't appreciate any of those indie pixel art graphics that many people so love. But when I was opening Sea of Stars, I don't know why I felt this sense of comfort. When you're exploring your little moon village, Zale and Valere playing as either one, the music just being so nostalgic, and I didn't even used to play pixel art games as a kid, really. I was never really too big into Pokemon as a kid. I was never too big into other pixel art games. But when I booted up this game and I started playing, I just felt like, yeah, I've been here before. Why do I have this warm, fuzzy feeling inside of me when I've never really been into these games? I've been a hater of them, and I never really played them as a kid. I think it just comes down to the fact that there's a sense of comfortability when playing these games that brings you back in time, while also implementing modern uses of plot and gaming and evolution in gameplay. I've been awestruck by realistic graphics before. I love Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I love Ghost of Tsushima. I love all of these realistic games, but there's just something about this game that blew me away and made me feel something different than those realistic games. And it's kind of like the game developers know that this is the case, because you can be immersed in the game in the unbelievable amount of beautiful settings just in the gameplay alone, even in battles, even in boss design and everything when you're fighting through to get to the Fleshmancer, the big bad at the end of the game. But along the way, you're treated to things like this, and this, and this. And it's just kind of a different game design. Like, the creators were saying, this is an epic adventure, this is a retro-inspired adventure, but stay here for a little bit. Take a breather. We made this for you. Enjoy this sight, because it's going to remind you of something in your mind, maybe of when you were a kid, or maybe even a few years ago. or maybe in a dream. Just escape into this view for a while. And I think that's as close as I can get to the core of what makes pixel art so unbelievably different and amazing feeling. Is it is dreamlike, and it is one of the best escapist art designs there are in a game. It's hard to kind of escape into a realistic game other than the gameplay and the amazing graphics, because it is real life. But with pixel art, there's just something so grandiosely dreamlike about it. I feel like I'm floating on a cloud when I play these pixel art games that I don't have for any other game experience feeling. And I think one of the first tastes of this also, even though it's not purely pixel art, but it kind of goes along that framework, and it touched upon and remastered a pixel art game back in the day, was when I was playing Streets of Rage. It's amazing how pixel art can encapsulate different feelings of different settings. It can go from a Ghibli, dreamlike, just dreamscape that's in Sea of Stars to a cyberpunk, Blade Runner-esque dystopian feel of something like Streets of Rage. I truly felt like I was in this game, and this is something that I would dream about. And not to mention the music being kind of like 8-bit, but also nowadays, with the improvements in music and music technology, ramping it up to more modern type beats. This is just the perfect harmony of nostalgia that I've never had back in the day. What is going on with pixel art? And not to mention games like Octopath Traveler and the numerous farming simulator games like Moonstone Island. I mean, we are in an era of pixel art appreciation. And I don't know why, when I scroll TikTok, which I do more than I should, whenever I come across a pixel art GIF or just motion picture, I have to stay there for like 3 minutes to immerse myself in everything about the image. This is similar to scenes in Celeste, where just the gradient of the skybox makes me want to just lay in some pixel-ass grass leaves and stare at it. You know, there are these peaceful moments in pixel art games where you get to stare at skyboxes, landscapes, get treated, and then you'll get right into... up over a 90s boss battle, yo. Straight back to the 90s. We're talking big, nostalgic, monster creature boss battles. Sea of Stars. I'm talking Streets of Rage, and just the joy I used to get even playing some of these old Tekken levels back in the day where you have to eat the chicken. It was the same stress I felt playing Streets of Rage. I feel like I'm all over the place this video, and I'm really trying to nail down the feeling of pixel art. But I guess I'll sum it up as this. Pixel art is nostalgic for those who have played it before and for those who have not. For anybody who has had a dream before of a landscape or just beautiful scenery, pixel art will in some way, shape, or form remind you of that on a vicarious and ethereal level. And while being one of the most unrealistic art designs in video games, it ironically happens to be the most immersive and the most impactful due to the feelings that it gives you along with the game experience, along with the gameplay and the story and the characters and everything else. I'm so glad that I got out of my close-minded way of shitting on pixel art, and I'm now happy to be playing more pixel art games, now having beaten Sea of Stars, Streets of Rage, and now I'm going to be getting more like Celeste and maybe even Chrono Trigger and other ones. Thank you, pixel art. I'm so glad you exist. You are not outdated, and please stick around forever. What are some of your favorite pixel art games out there? Please let me know in the comments below. I'm taking suggestions. I want to know more. I want to play more, please. So please let me know. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right? Peace.